Hello and welcome back to Real Talk About Feminism podcast. I'm Mackenzie.
And I'm Haley.
This is episode 59. And what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about if women should have paid period leave.
All right. Who's excited?
I'm excited. This is a really interesting topic, actually. It's not one that I've actually never really heard of paid period leave.
I haven't either.
I've never thought about
researching
it.
For this episode.
Yeah, I've just never thought about it because it was just something that we just like tough through.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually think about it, it's like, wait a second. And there's other countries that are toying with the idea. You know, We'll get into it, but it's just interesting.
Definitely. There's a little teaser for you.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, I want to personally thank you for letting me be your gym buddy. And letting me move off of you.
Of course. Of course. So yes, I joined Planet Fitness, the Judgment Free Zone, the Lunk Free Zone.
The Lunk Free Zone. We've yet to see the Lunk alarm go off.
If you guys don't know what that is, look it up because it's actually hilarious.
Why have we thought of like going on YouTube and looking it up?
Oh, the Lunk alarm?
Yeah.
What it looks like when it goes off?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's... Okay, I feel like we have to explain. Basically, the whole thing of Planet Fitness is like no lunks, and a lunk is like someone who judges, throws down their weights, or grunts excessively.
And it's like intimidating.
Yeah, like someone who's like being like a typical, stereotypical like steroid user gym bro.
Yeah.
And so you're not allowed, and it's like really strict at Planet Fitness. And that's why I joined, because I'm really intimidated to go to a gym. Because I don't really know how the machines work. I don't know, like I'm just like not comfortable with all that. But it's been so good. I went every day this week.
Good job.
And I felt really proud.
Great. Yeah, that's really great. And so you got the like premium membership.
Yeah.
Which means that you can bring a guest.
Yeah, you can bring a guest with you, like one guest every time you go. And it's only $22 a month.
Yeah, and so she's kind enough to take me. Mm-hmm. So we went twice this week, I think. And we went with Mom today, which was really fun. But honestly, like, we were talking about it, and it really is so much less intimidating. Like, I feel so comfortable there. Mm-hmm. And you brought up a really good point. Like, we've gone to a couple other gyms, and it's just, like, not it. Yeah. Like, I, like, walk in there feeling anxious. I leave feeling like, oh, my gosh, like, I suck, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, I felt so good after my workouts that I did with you.
Yeah, no, it feels really good. So last night, me and you went in the evening.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a busy day.
We went 3 times this week.
Yeah. But the other days I've been getting up in the morning, and I went with Mom. And honestly, like, it just feels really good. Because since November, actually, so since October of last year, it was a really hard time because it was like coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the assault and like everything like that. And it was just hard. And I wasn't sleeping well anyways. So I got into this really bad habit of getting up literally like 10 minutes before my shift because I work from home. And so I just had that excuse. Like, it wasn't an excuse because that was a genuinely a hard time.
Right. No excuse.
But I feel like now at this point, it's May.
Oh my gosh. In my head, I was like, oh, it's February. Like, I did
it's like, it's really not that long. No, it's May at this point. And so I was like, you know what? My whole thing right now has been, I need to get my life back together. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, like, I need to get my finances together. I need to start working out. I need to get on a better sleep schedule. And so now I'm going to bed earlier. I'm still going to bed at like, 11. Mm-hmm. But it's earlier for me. Going to bed earlier, waking up at 6 a.m., eating 3 meals a day. Like, it's just so much better.
Yeah.
And it's only been a week, but I feel good.
Yeah. And, like, that's more motivation to keep going. Mm-hmm. And this is making me think of my holistic health class that I've taken, because I had to do a final project about the 7 dimensions of health, which is, like, financial, spiritual, physical, whatever, like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I've been in that mood, too. And I think with like summer coming up and just wanting to feel like good and positive vibes all the time, I'm totally in the same boat with you.
Yeah.
And so, like, seriously, thank you for letting me go with you.
Yeah.
It's nice. Like, I can go to my apartment gym, but it's like not the same.
Yeah, and it is fun when you go with people. Yeah. And it's a lot easier. Like, I'm kind of a chatty Cathy at the gym.
Mm-hmm. You are.
Like, when me and Mom were doing the leg press this morning and you were over doing your own thing, me and Mom both didn't have headphones in or anything, and we were just chatting. Like, I just love chatting. And I am not a morning person at all. And so I'm kind of surprised that I'm not just like, let me stay in my headphones and just do my workout.
Right.
But I've just been in such a good mood every morning.
That's really good.
And I feel great. And so I'm honestly like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't want to like jinx it. And then like, this would be awkward if I stop working out. But it's like, no, I want to keep talking about how good I feel in the morning, even though it's only been a week, because this is going to motivate me to keep going.
Yes, exactly. My alarm went off at 5:45 this morning because we agreed to meet at 6:15. And I'm a notorious snoozer. And I didn't snooze it. And at first I was like, why is it so early? Yeah. I got out of bed. I was like, yep, I'm going to the gym. And I felt really good. Yeah. And last night we went to the gym and then we went and got smoothies. Like, that was fun.
It was so fun.
But it just feels really nice. Oh, and I didn't tell you. So my AirPods suck. Remember I was telling you that? I bought those headphones.
Oh, you
did?
The
over-the-ear ones. They're so nice.
Nice. You tried them
on? No.
Oh.
But I tried them on. They fit perfect. But I haven't paired them with my phone yet.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Yeah. So I made a goal that if I can work out consistently which consistently for me, I said was at least 3 days a week. But I mean, I've been working out
that's
more.
Consistently.
Yeah, that's consistent for me. But I worked out 5 days already.
Right.
So, but yeah, if I can work out consistently for a month straight, then I'm going to get myself rose gold beats.
Yes, and I think that's a great goal.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
That'll be so
That's cute. Like really motivating me. And then I decided once I hit 3 months of working out consistently, I'm going to get a few really cute workout sets.
Yes. I should set a goal like that for myself.
Yeah. So like in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm financially not doing well because I keep spending money. So with one goal, I'm motivating myself to do worse than my other goal, but it's fine.
I know. It's funny because I was having a conversation with Dad while we were in Chicago, actually. And we were watching the tournament and like having a deep conversation. You know how it goes, like in the volleyball tournaments. Totally. But we were both talking about like how we want to get our lives together, basically. And he was like, he was like, I'm working on trying to find something that motivates me. You know, like what's something that could reward you? And I was like, well, honestly, everything I want is just spending money. And he was like, is there anything else? I was like,
you're like, no.
Nope, it's spending money.
No, because I think like travel, that's spending a crap ton of money. Like
exactly. Workout sets, money.
Money.
New headphones, shoes, money.
Yeah, honestly, I can't think
makeup, of money. Like, I can't think of anything else.
It's rough. It's really rough. But you know what? For me, I'm like, whatever. Like, if I'm getting those freaking beats.
Yeah. And because you're going to set your mind to it.
I'm setting my mind to it. I'm going to work out. And I almost bought them the other day because I feel like I like have like a medically diagnosed like spending issue. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I feel like that too.
No, like I feel like I genuinely like.
I don't think you're alone. Like, I think a lot of, I think it's because, especially with the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people's spending habits have like really gone out of control. I don't think you're alone.
I genuinely feel like it's like sort of an addiction.
Yeah. Because it like literally I'm like, just this one. Like, this is the last time.
Yeah, no, like it actually got so bad this week that I took my credit card out of my wallet and put it in my top drawer so that I know that if you don't spend your credit card, then your credit score will go down. So it's not going to be there forever, but like for the next 3 weeks, I need to keep it away in a drawer and not at my disposal because it's so bad. Like, I honestly, like, I need help.
Have you ever thought about lowering your credit limit?
I don't think you can.
I don't know if you can either.
No, I don't think you can. If anyone's listening, if you can lower your credit limit, please DM me. But I don't think you can because they just automatically, and my credit limit's like $2,000.
Dude, that's so dangerous.
It's really dangerous. Like, I honestly, like, this is going to make me look really bad. And you know what? It does, and it's fine. But I got this credit card on an impulse because it was rose gold.
I thought you were going to say, like, I just wanted to spend some cash real quick. Like, I was not excited.
No, I got it because it's pink.
It's really cute, but...
It's really cute. But, like, that is why I got it, and I didn't even look at what the credit limits were. And, like, it started me off at $1,000, and then after I made, like, 3 on-time payments, it was like, okay, now your credit limit's $2,000. And I'm like, guys, no.
So, a starter credit card at $1,000?
Yeah. It's a student one.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how. Anyways, that was a 10-minute rant about all that. But basically, yeah, we're getting our lives together.
Yeah, and we're starting with the gym.
Yeah. So, yeah we went this week, and it felt really good.
Yeah. We gonna go tomorrow?
Honestly, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's talk about it later.
Feels good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Today's feminist highlight is Anna Politkovskaya. I'm sorry, I looked up the pronunciation 10 minutes ago and I already forgot. Do you know it?
I forgot.
Okay,
Anna P.
Throwing
it to the Bachelor.
Okay, Anna P. Anna. And I actually got this idea. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on that. I'm so embarrassed. I got this idea from this book that we got at the library, because we did a library trip together a little bit ago, and we got a few books, and this one is called The Little Book of Feminist Saints, and it's so cute. If you're watching on YouTube, like, it's so small, it's really cute.
Very cute.
So she was a Russian journalist and human rights activist, and she reported on Russian political events, mostly the Chechen War. She worked as a journalist despite how dangerous it was. And this was a very dangerous time. And what she was doing was extremely dangerous and bold.
Sure.
I'm going to read her biography as written in this book. Trigger warning before I read this entry. It is a little bit graphic.
A lot graphic.
Yeah, it's graphic. 2 months before her death, journalist Anna Politkovskaya,
that sounds right to me.
Okay, blends into a crowd of women wearing a headscarf. The other women do their best to conceal her. It's important that she not be seen. A Chechen fighter, a man native to this village, has been killed on orders from the Kremlin. His head now hangs suspended from a gas pipeline, his bloody track pants laid out below. I'm sorry, this is kind of graphic. Haley's so disturbed. The men in charge snap pictures with their cell phones. Then it is taken down, a small mercy, only to be sewn back onto its body and put on display again. A warning to Chechen adults, to their children, to whomever happens to be watching. Politkovskaya has been told that she mustn't be here. Her reporting has made her enemies. There are threats on her life, but she is here and she will write about what she sees. Politkovskaya was born in New York, the daughter of diplomats. She could have chosen a life apart from this. She has already been arrested, poisoned, thrown into a pit. She's endured a mock execution at the hands of Russian troops. But as a journalist, she felt a duty to describe, as she put it, the life around us for those who cannot see it for themselves. It was a duty that would cost her life. In October 2006, she was found in an elevator in her Moscow apartment building, shot in the head and chest. Though it remains unclear who ordered the shooting, top-secret documents released by Edward Snowden confirmed that Russian Federal Intelligence Services had targeted her email account. 2 months before her murder, Politkovskaya wrote, "People in Chechnya are afraid for me, and I find that very touching. They fear me more than I fear for myself, and that is how I survive." So she, you can read a lot more about her. There's a lot of information about her online, but she put herself out there in very dangerous situations to bring awareness to what was happening to her people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very strong of her.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have never heard of her, but she obviously made the ultimate sacrifice, and she was fighting for others. Thank you for sharing that with us. As always, we love the feminist highlights. Such a good way to start off the episodes. So, like we touched on at the beginning, we are talking about whether or not women should have paid period leave.
This is the question of the day. Now, obviously, I say yes. Mm-hmm. And that can look, we can talk more about it, but that can look different. It doesn't have to be a week-long paid leave. There's options.
Right.
This is kind of a controversial issue. Issue. So obviously, there's pros and cons, which we'll explore. Mm-hmm. But with this topic, I'm thinking about the episode we did with Rainey.
Right.
And this is honestly all I need to say, yes, women should have period leave.
So if you haven't listened to that, then go back and listen. It was, I think, 3 episodes ago at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Renee in her episode, she talked about the red tent, mm-hmm. And just the importance of taking downtime to reflect and and process your emotions and your feelings and just be creative
while you're on your period.
Mm-hmm. And they had, go back and listen for her talking about the red tent, because she'll explain it a lot and it's very interesting. But she talked about the importance of that, and so I think we're both kind of thinking of with that in mind when we're thinking about paid period leave.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean, I was like, yeah, we should have period leave before, but like after hearing that episode, like, yeah, we do need some time mm-hmm. to be in our feminine energy. Right. And I think that's what this topic is about, mm-hmm. personally. There's the emotional and mental aspect of periods, right? Mm-hmm. But there's also the physical, which is what we talk about most in Western culture. Right. And sometimes for some women, period symptoms could be debilitating. Right. I've never personally, you know what? Actually, I take that back. There's been a couple times where I've like had to leave school and work because it's so bad. Yeah. But like there are women who literally go through this every single period. And it's terrible.
Every single day of their period every month.
Yes. Yeah. And it can also just be uncomfortable. You know, like as we were talking with Rainey, like sometimes on your period, you just don't want to be doing anything. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when I think about mine, and we'll get into this a little bit more when we actually start talking more in depth about it. But for me, when I think about it, like, I think it would be nice to have maybe like 1 or 2 days maybe for my period personally. Any longer than that, I don't think I would need time off. But like, yeah, it would be nice to have a day to just literally be in your feelings, be in your thoughts, be creative, do everything that Rini was talking about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you said, like it varies for everyone, so it could look different, but we'll get into it a little bit more.
Yeah. Time did an article about how some employers in Girona, Spain have actually added menstrual leave to their benefits package. And there's some countries in the world that already have it and some that are like working towards that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a newer thing in Spain. There were a lot of mixed opinions on this though.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I didn't think about the other side of it. Mm-mm. So some people think that this is a great idea and that it's carving a new path for women's rights. But then other people are saying that it's anti-feminist and that it's actually setting women back, you know, all the years that we've worked.
Right. Which I don't really agree with. Personally, I feel like it is like a huge thing for women's labor rights.
Yeah, I never thought about that it could set back women's rights. So I don't think it does.
Okay. I'm trying to think of how. Just because, like, women aren't being seen as equal. Like, they're needing time off.
And, yeah, I could see that. But at the same time, I think about periods and how painful they can be. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, men will never understand that. And so if I want to take a lazy day, then I would love a lazy day.
Yes.
And I don't think that that's setting back my rights or, you know, the work that women have done for 100 years. I don't think that that's setting it back at all.
I don't either. It is good to look at both sides, though, for sure, because a lot of people have that opinion.
Yeah, and it is interesting, and I can see it. Mm-hmm. I just don't necessarily agree. I don't think it's big enough, but I can see it.
Interestingly, though, the article said that it was mostly women who were opposing it because they didn't want to be seen as weak or as victims.
And I also see that because, you know, women, especially in the workplace, have worked really hard. And we've talked about these things like, you know, it is harder for women in the workplace, like with the pay gap and everything like that. And so it's like, well, I don't want to do anything that a man could say, well, she's taking time off for her period, which means I'm working more, which means I deserve this raise more than she does. Or I deserve this position more than she does. And it's like, I get that because it's like, you know,
that would totally happen.
Yeah, it would happen. And you look at all of the work that has been done. And if you were working so hard to get a position and then somebody beat you out because you took a week off for your period that was debilitating for you, then that does suck. And so I understand the hesitation in the workplace. I really do. Right.
Even a couple days, you know, like people could use that against you. Mm-hmm. Some have also said that it might make it easier to discriminate against women because they will have the choice to take a menstrual leave. Like the countries, as far as I understand, the countries that have this policy, you can choose. Mm-hmm. You don't have to take the leave, but it's there for you.
Right.
But I do agree with that. Just like you were saying, people can use that against you.
Yeah, like they could be like, well, Linda isn't taking a week off for her period, so why is Stacy?
I don't think it would be a week. But
but a few days.
Right. Like, why can't you?
Yeah.
It's like, I have the option.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be persecuted for it. So yeah, you know what? I was disagreeing with like setting feminism back. I think there are some aspects that it could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see it. I don't think that it should.
Mm-hmm.
But I think unintentionally it could.
Right. A lot of should, coulds, would.
Yeah, we're like, okay, so now we're basically changing our opinions. No, but like...
Yeah, but that's okay. That's what learning is, right?
It's so interesting because there are a lot of different ways you can look at it.
Definitely. There are some countries in Asia, including Japan and South Korea, that have had a period leave for decades. Like, this has been implemented for a long, long time. But menstruation and periods are a very private matter in many Asian countries. And I read a CNN business article. We'll link it in the show notes as usual. But it said that companies don't have to pay women while they're on period leave. So for this reason, a lot of women don't actually take it. Mm-hmm. But then as I read the article, it dove deeper into the issue. And the larger reason that a lot of women in Asian cultures don't take the period leave is cultural reasons, because it is a very private matter. There were a couple women that talked in the article. They had quotes.
Yeah.
And they talked about they would rather feel sick and uncomfortable than tell their male bosses that they're on their period. Simply just saying that they're on their period.
And that to me is sad, because that is not on them at all. But it is sad to not feel comfortable in such a natural process. Mm-hmm. And I understand that it is like, it can be private for a lot of people. And in a lot of cultures, it is like something that is not talked about. Mm-hmm. But I know, obviously, we talk about periods a lot on this podcast. And like, after talking with Rini, just relating it back to that episode and just realizing that your menstrual cycle really is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And so it is sad to think that like in some cultures it's a taboo, and if you had such bad period cramps and you had the option to take a few hours off or just tough it out because you don't feel comfortable talking about it, then that's really sad.
Right. And I mean, it is a cultural thing though, right? So like nothing's really going to change that.
Right.
But it was interesting too how it said then tell their male bosses, because like that's the dominant thing in, a lot of countries. But yeah, so I just thought that was interesting, because like even countries that have this policy, it does not mean it's being utilized.
Right. And I think something that was interesting in one of the articles that we read in Time, they talked about how Spain is kind of toying with the idea of offering up to 8 hours of paid leave per month. And when you think about it, like 8 hours, that could be like a full work day.
Yeah.
But, let's say you just need a few hours off to go take a nap. Mm-hmm. One day, and then maybe you want to take 2 half days, whatever. Like,
exactly,
it's not like, I feel like there would be so much commotion if they started doing this in the US. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like so many people would be like, that's not fair, like, blah blah, just have all these issues with it. But when you think about it, 8 hours of paid leave per month is not that long.
It's not that long.
Less than a 1 day of work for me, because I work 9 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's really not that long.
It's not that long. And like, you wouldn't have to take it all in 1 day.
No.
You could split it up.
Yeah, but like, it would be nice to have the option that like, because sometimes, it can be so bad where you're bloated, you're bleeding, you have really bad cramps, you have a headache. Like, because I get really bad headaches on my period and in general, but like on my period, it's a lot worse. And so like, it would be nice if I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is the worst. I'm going to just clock out real quick and take a 2-hour nap and then come back to it. I feel like I would feel so much better.
So something that I've thought about too with this topic is like whether it should be paid or not. Mm-hmm. Because if somebody's offered a 3-day period leave a month, but it's unpaid, it's like, I don't know if many people would take that, because a lot of people can't afford to take 3 days off of work. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I personally don't think I would do that.
Right.
And so I think it's just interesting that even though like the countries like Japan and South Korea have this, it's not paid. And so aside from the cultural reasons, that's why a lot of women don't take it.
I feel like in most companies, if you're a full-time employee, you're working, you know, over a certain amount of hours per week, at least in the United States, then you get a certain amount of paid sick days. And I feel like there should just be time allotted for specific paid period leave.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, like, if, let's say you get, like, I don't know how many, because I'm not a full-time employee, but, like, let's say you get 5 sick days a year paid, then you also get, you know, for example, 5 period days paid. And so you would get 10 total. But it's like there's a certain amount set aside for period specifically.
Right. It's a different section, not just lumped together.
Yeah, it's not just sick.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good option because it's not like they don't offer paid sick days for full-time employees.
Right.
Like, I get for me, I'm a part-time employee. I get that, you know, why I don't get paid sick days. But for a full-time employee, someone who's working, like, all the time, I don't think it's that big of a deal for companies, especially, like, large corporations.
Right.
Like, maybe small businesses. Like, you know, maybe that's a little different. But, like, a large corporation, like a publicly traded company, i.e. the one that we're working for. But, like, I don't think it would be that big of a deal.
Right.
And I know that there's a lot that goes into it, but I think that would be a good solution.
I do too. Yeah, it's interesting. I would be very curious to see how the U.S. would handle that. Because, like, so many people have so many different opinions.
I think there would be so much uproar.
There would be so much uproar.
Because there's not the respect, in my opinion. In America, there's not the respect for women that there is in other countries. Like, you know, like how there used to be the red tent. Like, exactly. Ruby was saying, like,
I was just thinking.
You know, they had those things aside, and it's like, it was your menstrual cycle was truly seen as sacred. And it was, I just feel like there's not anything in America, no, like, history that dates back to, like, you know, BC of women literally being worshipped while they're on their periods because of that means that they're able to, like, bring children into the world and stuff like that, you know?
Right.
So I feel like there would just be such a freaking uproar here.
I agree. Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. But, like, I would love that to happen. I think that would be a really big step forward.
Yeah.
An article from Health Central talked about a big pro of having a paid period leave or even a period leave. You know, like, that would be a tiny step.
Yeah.
A big step, actually. A pro would be normalizing periods and conversations around periods.
Right.
Because as you were saying, like, I feel like in Western culture, it's more normalized.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays. But it could be even more normalized. I think normalizing the respect that comes along with a menstrual cycle.
Yeah. Like, instead of it being, oh, are you on your period? It's like,
you're on your period. Take a day.
Take a day.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, take some time and be in your feminine energy and, you know, not like that would ever happen. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would just be really nice. So another pro of this would be some relief for those who have terrible period symptoms and actual conditions like endometriosis.
Yeah, because, like, the serious conditions, like, there's no way you should be forced to go into work.
Like, people literally pass out from that.
Literally. It's a condition for a reason. Like,
yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
There are a lot of cons to it, but those are just some examples. There's also
pros.
I meant pros. I was about to move on to some of the cons.
Yeah.
So take it away with the cons.
Well, one con we already touched on was that women might be seen as weaker or less productive than men. I personally don't feel like this would happen, though. Do I think a lot of men might see women as weaker? Absolutely, yes. But I don't think productivity would change.
Right, and I think that we're already strong anyways because we're pushing through the period pain. Even if you don't have the worst period pain, it's still extremely inconvenient and there are symptoms. Like,
and uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable. And so we're already pushing through that now. So we're already strong. We're already proving that we're not weak. But the other thing, too, that I think about is, like, your period genuinely takes up so much energy.
It does.
Like, I know that I'm not the only one, but, like, I literally eat double.
So much. I know, it's like I'm pregnant.
I know, I'm like, how much am I going to eat when I'm pregnant?
Literally, because, like, so much energy. And, like, I don't know why. Like,
because you're burning calories. Because your body is always working. Yeah. No, literally, your body's always working, releasing eggs.
Well, that explains it. Because, yeah, I'm like, I feel bad about myself. I'm like, why am I eating so freaking much? But, like, I'm still starving.
Yeah, no, literally, that's how it is for me, too. And so that's the other thing, too. It's like, we're using up so much of our energy. So that would be another pro to having paid period leave. Just, like, a little bit extra rest.
Definitely. Yeah, I think even, like, a day or two would be so nice.
Yeah. I think it would be really nice. I think another thing that has been talked about kind of with this whole discussion is also making sure that women have adequate family and sick leave and also have plenty of feminine hygiene products stocked in the workplace bathrooms.
There's never any. Ever.
No, and actually, so I don't know if any of you guys have heard of a company called Ant Flow.
You told me about them.
So our sister Nat actually told us about it.
Oh.
And Nat was at the library one day and they were going to the bathroom and saw this dispenser, and I actually was with them at the library yesterday and saw the dispenser in the bathroom, and it literally says like you know, take if you need, call this number if you need to refill. It's free, and there's liners and tampons, and it's like sustainable period products, and I just love it. And I think that's so important that it's free. Because, and that means, like, the library paid to have that put in. Yeah, and they're, like, paying to stock that. And that's amazing. Because, you know, all bathrooms are supposed to have, like, the tampon pad dispenser. But not everyone carries around a quarter.
No.
Or, like, it's, a lot of people don't carry around coins. And so it needs to be free. And I think that's also something that's really important. Like, along with this paid period leave, there needs to be access to period products in the workplace.
Exactly. Yeah, because how many times, like, when you're working in an office or like in a place, you have to go to the bathroom and there's nothing there and you don't have anything.
And so you have to freaking stuff toilet paper up.
Yes, and it's terrible.
Yeah, and if that makes any men uncomfortable that are listening, then it should. And that should give you motivation to freaking stock our women's bathrooms with period products.
Right, and not just tampons.
Not just tampons,
liners
pads.
Too.
Yeah, pants.
Pants?
I get like a country accent when I've been talking for too long. Pads, liners, like everything needs to be stocked because that really is the alternative if you don't have anything, because your period comes so unexpected sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so you'll be there and then all of a sudden you're bleeding, you don't want to bleed through your pants, so you stuff toilet paper in your underwear.
Right.
Gross.
Another suggestion that some people have said is just like more flexibility, more work from home options, which is very prevalent with the pandemic.
Right.
But even if there's no period leave or paid period leave, just having work from home options during that time.
Right. I totally agree.
Which I totally agree with and stand by. Mm-hmm. Another thing we also just want to make note of is seeing a doctor if your bleeding is abnormally heavy, if your symptoms are like so debilitatingly painful. And if it's like
not good.
It's not normal. Mm-hmm. And if it's like interrupting your life, that's not normal. Like you should definitely see a provider. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to make that note because like we're talking about like uncomfortable symptoms and like being, you know, in pain and stuff, and like honestly period pain is not normal. Like, you know, cramps are normal to an extent, but like it's not normal.
Yeah.
So if it's interrupting your life and so bad that you like can't get out of bed, you need to see somebody.
Yep. Go to the gyno, get in those stirrups and get fixed up.
Get swabbed and get I've actually never had a pap smear. I'm due for this year.
Oh my gosh.
For my first one.
You want to go together?
Have I had a pap smear? Have I? No. I've been swabbed up there though.
We were just talking to Mom about that the other day. Like we were like, is it uncomfortable? And she was just saying how it's just awkward to be in the stirrups.
It's really awkward.
And then she was saying like, she's like, it doesn't hurt, but she was like, when they swab, it feels very uncomfortable and unnatural.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyways. Okay, I second that because when I had to get my IUD in, I'd had that appointment booked for a while, right? Yeah. And of course I was on my period.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm on my period. Do I need to reschedule? She's like, no, you're fine. Like, this happens all the time.
They don't care.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, so gross. I was like terrified of like, you know, when you sit on the paper thing and then scooting back and there's like a blood stain. I don't know if there was.
Oh gosh. Well,
anyway.
Yeah, go to the gyno if you have some bad period cramps because, you know, it's normal to an extent, but if it's really debilitating, go see a doctor.
Definitely. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this issue. We'll put a poll on our stories when this comes out. And like, if you want to like explain why you think that way, like DM us, please. Like, we would love to know. So with that, we hope you guys have a great week. Please make sure to leave a rating and a review and share with a friend.
Yeah, and if you are currently on your period when you're listening to this, first of all, go you. You're powerful, you're strong, you can get through this. And second of all, take some time to feel your feminine energy and be creative and rest, like Rini said. Yep.
Yeah, what episode was that? We'll put it in the show notes, but be sure to listen to that interview we did with Rini Khanna from Love Your Moon Cycle if you haven't already.
So you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.